Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I want to welcome you to this week's episode of the Better Together Facebook Live. I am your host, Barb Roos, and here on this weekly Facebook Live show, this is where we get together. We share our hopes, our dreams, our worries, today, our favorite books, as well as the things that impact our waistlines. Most of all, I want you to know it doesn't matter where you come from or what you've been through. Here at the Better Together Facebook Live is where we find the hope, the help, as well as the next steps so that we can all get better together. And today we're talking Better Together books. I want to welcome you to what I'm calling Barbie's Book Club. So if you are joining us today, go ahead and say hi in the chat. If you are a first-time listener, this Better Together Facebook Live, we want to make it an interactive show. And so today I want to start with a question. As we've been in this pandemic, have you been reading more books or less books during the pandemic? You can put a thumbs up if you've been reading more books, or a thumbs down if you want to go with emojis. And we've got some folks that have jumped in and said hi. And so my fabulous producer, Tabitha, she is going to be taking care of things. She said, or she's got some comments. We got Jacqueline who's saying hello. Jacqueline, so glad to have you with us. Who else do we have with us today on Better Together? Deb Barron, so glad to have you. Friends, I love the fact that we can gather together and we can have some fun talking particularly about books that inspire our hearts. So today's icebreaker question was, have you been reading more books or less books? And so who else has jumped in the chat? Michelle, hey Michelle in Texas. She says, I confess I've been reading more books, but less nonfiction and more escape lit. Honey, you and me both. I've been reading all kinds of fiction stories during the pandemic. We've got Vicki Heath from Edisto Island, South Carolina. And she says she's been reading more books. Absolutely. This is good. Deb says she's been reading more books. The thumbs up. Missy Poole Brenton, I'm so glad that you are here with us today. I don't know if you guys knew this, but in the publishing industry, they said that there have been record sales for books during the pandemic. I mean, we were at home. And so as a lifetime book lover, I am so excited that so many people have been reading books. And I know that not everybody has been reading tons of books. And so if you're out there and you're like, I haven't been reading as many, you know what? Thank you for being real. Missy Brenton, thank you for being real. Where you're like, you know what? I've had some other things that have been going on in my life. Honey, we are here for you. And so Carolyn Freeman, she said, yes, she's been writing. So there have been lots of people writing books. Well, today I want to talk with you, or I want to have you meet a friend of mine because she has been busy writing books. And in today's Barb's Book Club, we're going to talk with my guest about her newest book. It's actually a book that I got to read earlier last year in the pandemic. And I am so excited that you get a chance to hear about this book. So, my friends, let me introduce to you today's guest, because we're going to talk about her new book, particularly about how her new book addresses the issues of family secrets. And so if you love fiction stories, if you love juicy family secrets, today's book is going to be for you. And so let me introduce to you Robin W. Pearson, and you're going to see her gorgeous face there. Robin, her writing sprouts from her Southern roots and the love of her husband and 7 children. Get this. I mean, she's got this beautiful bunch of kids who are all smart and talented. Seriously. Both her husband and children, they lend authenticity. And she's got her debut novel, which I have right here. It's titled Till I Want No, or it's titled A Long Time Coming. Today, we're going to talk about Robin's brand spanking new book titled Till I Want No More. And so, friends, I want you to join me in welcoming to Better Together Facebook Live, my friend, Robin W. Pearson.
Hello, hello, hello. Hi.
Hello. How are you doing today?
Doing great. I'm doing great.
You know what? hold that book up again, my friend. Ladies, this is Robin and her newest book, Till I Want No More. Absolutely. I just love that
Good.
cover. And
Thank you.
and so Robin, you've got that beautiful book, but you also have a
You're freezing a little, but I think you're talking about my necklace. And my youngest made it for me, and he insists he wants me to wear it. So I told him I would wear it today. It's been in my room, in my jewelry box with all my other special things. So I'm wearing it today. So this is for a baby boy. So yeah.
That's so
It's
sweet.
more beautiful than the book.
Oh, I love it. He made his mama a necklace. Well,
yes,
I love it. You were showing off your book, Till I Want No. She popped up. She said that she loves the title of the book, and so do I. And even more than loving the title of the book, I absolutely adore the fact that the book itself is such a beautiful work. So,
I am having
we're going to also talk about. Okay, I think we're back. Are we back?
Yes.
You hear me?
So. Yes, I can hear you.
Robin?
Yes.
Alrighty then. Fantastic. We have had, good. We have had a few little weird technical difficulties today, and I am hoping that they are short-lived. So Robin, hold up your book again. It's titled Till I Want No More, and tell us what inspired this book.
Well, it was about a few years ago, and I was still trying to get my first book published, and others, had been encouraging me to start something. And I felt like at the time I couldn't move on to the second baby, while the first baby was still trying to walk. So but one day we were, in church, and we had a guest minister, and he was speaking about, our sins that kind of come on to find us, things that we don't want to admit, secrets that we carry with us, griefs, that we bear, and we won't let down. And the title of the sermon, I think, was Esau's Coming. And so it just struck me that day. And that's actually one of the first quotes that I have in the book, that introduced the first section of the book. One day, Esau's coming. And so that inspired the story about Maxine, just this young woman who is bearing, this burden, and who's trying to look forward, but she can't move forward because she's dragging this, thing along with her. So that she has to, set down.
Ooh, that is powerful. Well, audience, we've got a question for you, because we're going to talk about Robin's book and some of the special features, of the book. But without giving the details, audience, has there been a family secret from the past that has stirred up problems in the present? Robin, I had a chance to read Till I Want No More, and there was so much that I resonated with, particularly when it came to family secrets. There's actually a family secret. My grandmother passed away at 92 years old a few years ago. And there was a family secret in her life that we still don't know the answer to, even after she passed away.
Wow.
And so why is it, do you think, that sometimes in novels, it makes it easier for us to work through some family situations?
Well, it's just like for Maxine, she was able to write about things that were bothering her that she couldn't share with, the people in her life, with her fiance or with her parents. So she felt like she had to, put this certain face on, and, and look a certain way for them and be who they wanted her to be. But for her audience, for her readers, she could admit weaknesses, and she could, share some of the things she was afraid of. And with Till I Want No More, this story, like for Maxine, yes, there was this, secret, and several secrets that had to, come out. But for many of us, for me, there are also burdens that we carry, just are things that we just can't share. And it may not be, that, I killed my neighbor because he wouldn't replant his oak tree and no one knows where he's buried. It may not be that, it could be just that, I'm afraid to speak in public, or, something that just hurts you, that makes you afraid to move forward in whatever God has for you. It could be that, I'm afraid of talking with people and sharing, this certain thing, or I've done something in college that it's holding me back. And here I am at 45 and I really need to make up with these, friends, or people I've left behind, or, broken relationships with family members, things that you just can't seem to let God know about, even though he knows about them. And in Maxine's case, of course, he knew. And in her family, they knew. But we just have to admit things to ourselves. So it may not be this huge thing that would take you to jail. It could just be something personal to you that you just have to let go of and let someone else in.
Truly. And for what I loved as I was reading the book was that in this particular case, you had the option of writing a story with people of any color or any culture, but your story, Till I Want No More, there's a lot of diversity in the story. And so can you tell us about the diverse characters in the story? Because for those who are listening and you haven't read novels with a lot of diversity, Robin, you do a good job of mixing it up.
Yes, I talk about short people, tall people, skinny people. But no, in our family, my family is very, diverse, my extended family, as well as my church family. We worship with, a mixture, just, God's people. All of our readers, we, are reading different kinds of books. And I wanted my characters to reflect all of that, because all of that makes, one, makes us unified. And so I really wanted to show, Maxine, they're African-American family, but they have, Cuban grandparents, and, her stepfather is Caucasian. And so it's just, I wanted to show diversity of thought, diversity of, people, cultures, food, but also to point to one faith, one God, and show that we're all unified in our hearts. And so that's what I wanted to do.
That's so good. I love that, just that idea of going, we are diverse in our thoughts and in our backgrounds, but we have this unity with one God. Oh, woo. Well, everyone, if you're just joining us, I am talking with Robin Pearson, and she is an award-winning author, and we're talking about her newest book, Till I Want No More. And we've posted a link to Robin's book there in the comments. Vicki Heath beat us to the punch. Not only did she post the link to Robin's book, but she just said, I just ordered my copy right here.
Thank you. Thank you.
So that was so very sweet, Vicki, for you to just say, yeah, I just ordered it. Well,
thanks.
Robin,
I might get
my necklace. Now, Robin, when you think about this story, particularly the fact that it does include diverse characters, in Christian publishing, there aren't as many novels that include diverse characters, or primarily diverse characters. Right. And so for our readers who've never read a story that features diverse characters, why is this an important experience?
Well, I think it's good for us to step outside of, what we're used to, and what we're comfortable with, because it's an education, right? It's a faith education. It's a spiritual education, as well as, it's beyond academics and all of that. But we need to, broaden our experience. We've seen so many things happening today because people are not aware of another experience, and are not appreciative, and are not sensitive to other experiences. And so I think it's important as believers that we are sensitive to those things, and to get to know other people, because it's not really even other, right? It's just getting to know someone else. And I think we should do that in our reading as well. Our reading should reflect our life. And in our life, we're not stuck in just one place. We're not all in just one house. We go out into the world. We're seeing different people. We're shopping, worshiping, talking to different people, working with different people. And our reading should reflect that as well. So that's what I hope to see more of, that, and to make our reading experience richer, make us richer as well. So I hope to see more of us, more of, in our writing, in our reading.
And I love, again, your earlier point was that we all do come from different backgrounds, many colors, many cultures, and one God.
Yes.
And I've thought over the years, I have loved reading lots of different kinds of fiction. And so I've read fiction about Amish families, because there aren't any Black Amish people that I have ever met. I have read stories from turn of the century of pioneers.
Yeah.
There were a lot of Black pioneers because Black people were busy in slavery. And so what I hope, and what my desire is that stories like yours, that you feature, that people are willing to say, let me just read this story of things that happen in my family, but how does it play out in another experience?
Right. Because we all share, I'm sorry.
No, go right ahead.
Our experiences are so common. I mean, we are going through the same things, and so we may handle them differently. I mean, it may be, how we speak, or regionally, it just depends on where you live. I read a feed today about, how do you say Coke if I want a soda from the South? So we say different things, but we're sharing the same experience in a lot of cases, don't you think?
Absolutely. I love Vicki Heath. She said she loves Southern writers. And so that is beautiful. I think you're North Carolina. You're North Carolina, right?
Yes.
And Vicki, South Carolina. Carolyn Freeman, she said that she loves the idea that when you said that our thoughts of broadening our spiritual diversity in reading and writing. Absolutely. In your book, and hold up the cover for us again, of Till I Want No More, food is a key feature in the book. Tell us about why food is such a key theme in the book.
Well, you can see, food is a key theme in our life, in my life here at home. My, family, we were just raised with, just wanting to love on you with food. With my mom, when you go to her house and she serves you, you can't just eat that plate. You have to get seconds. If you don't get seconds, then you don't like it. You don't like her. Like, it's how she loves you. Like, even now, she's recovering from some different things. And, I went there to take her food, and she had cooked. Like, she had, it was the middle of the week. She had made like 2 different meats, and she had done, the stuff that she does. That's how she shows love. And so for me, for my family, that's what we do. That's how we, we show love. We feed you. We want to feed the spirit. We want to feed the body. My daughter goes off to college. I want to make sure that I send her things from home. But then with the book, I also want to communicate the idea of, it's not just till I want no more of dinner or, physical food, but spiritual food. And we want God to feed us, our spirits, and to give us what we need until we could ask for no more. So that's the idea with the book. It's a family that revolves around a catering company, Manna Catering. So, they all work together, with that, and they're feeding the community, they're feeding their family. And, but also the idea that, Maxine, there's still this part of her that still seeks nourishment. It's hungry, and it's hungry for acceptance. She's hungry for the Lord, and a relationship. And so that's what she's seeking in this book.
Well, and I love how just that the imagery of food with family and connection. I believe that lots and lots of people from different colors and cultures can relate to that. And it is such a powerful way, and a tangible way, but also how you use that as a metaphor for her actual healing journey. And so since this book is about a woman's spiritual journey from being held captive by secrets to finding freedom, when you
That's
think
good.
about,
That's good.
oh, good. Woo! For you, what did you learn about forgiveness, family, and the importance of facing the past as you were writing this book?
Well, I think it's important that we, forgive ourselves. I mean, that it's, the Lord, for Maxine, she gets saved at a, young age, but then she walks the rest of her life, at least up to this point, of just condemning herself. As she speaks words of condemnation to herself, not even, listening to others saying that who are trying to encourage her, but she's, condemning herself and can't accept the forgiveness that God so, freely offered her. And she's trying to earn it and doing different things and what she, wears and, everything about her life, just trying to earn it. And sometimes, it's not, we want someone to say, I'm sorry, in terms of offering forgiveness to others, but sometimes that doesn't happen. And that's not going to come this this package of, okay, you've said I'm sorry. And then, okay, now I forgive you. And then we move on. It doesn't happen that way in life. And, the book doesn't wrap up necessarily with this little bow on it. I try to show how life is and that we have to, there's periods of ellipsis at the end in terms of things continue. It's not this definite, final thing necessarily at the end, but we have to forgive ourselves first, learn to forgive others, and accept that once we have it.
And that is such a powerful theme that it's so necessary for all of us, because we don't live our lives perfectly, and you want that to really rise up in the story, that Maxine realizes that God has forgiven her, but she has to take that journey for herself.
Yeah.
If you're joining me, I am talking with Robin Pearson, author of the new book, Till I Want No More. We've got a link for you to check out the book in Amazon. Vicki has already purchased it. I had an opportunity to read the book earlier before it was printed for an endorsement. And this is what I said about Robin's book, and you'll see it here on the screen. I wrote that Till I Want No More feels like an extended afternoon at a family reunion barbecue, complete with mouth-watering food, family secrets, and voices of faith that never lose hope. This brilliantly written story reminds us that God is bigger than struggles that all families face. Yet as a woman of color, I love that Robin's courageous characters look and sound like me. And so Robin, I love the fact that I can see myself in these stories. Vicki, we were talking about food. Vicki said that food is the love language of the South.
Yes.
You are not wrong, Vicki. Robin, how hard was it for you as an author? Your first book, a long time coming. This is a Christie Award-winning book. This is your debut novel. And then in your second novel, you also write for diverse characters. As an author, how hard is it? What are some of the things that you've got to battle through when you are thinking about writing diverse characters as main characters? And in your career, do you sometimes wonder, is this good for your career, or do you wonder, will it hold your career back?
Well, when I started writing, I write, what I knew. I write what I know, and I wrote what I knew. Trying to get my grammar right, excuse me. But so I'm writing about my family. I'm writing about, my faith. But over the years of trying to get that book published, I thought, gosh, it's not getting accepted. I keep getting, rejection. And there was just that, we didn't like how the characters sounded. It was hard to, identify with them. And so when I started Till I Want No More, at first I thought, I'm just going to not whitewash the characters, but at least make it so you can't see, what background they are. That's what at first, I tried to just, not describe anyone, just make it where you could put your own imagination and see, you know, what the characters look like. I talked about their hair and different things, but I thought I just want this to get accepted. And then I realized that wasn't being true to who I was, you know, who God made me. And I can't let someone else decide for me how I'm supposed to write, what my characters are supposed to look like or sound like. And, you know, I am who I am. I am who I am through my writing, and I can't change that. This is what I know. So, you know, this is how God made me. And I think we all need to accept and love who we are and where we are in life, and that God will meet us, you know, where we are with all of our fears and our warts and everything else. And that's something that that I'm growing in, and seeing him, you know, as my Abba Father, you know, and that he knows who I am. Like, he knows that I yell sometimes, and that, you know, I can cry myself to sleep, or, you know, that I'm not always as brave as I would like to be. But that's, you know, who he made, and that's who he loves, and that's who he accepts. And so, and I look like, with, you know, the cheeks, the brown color, that's me. And that's who I want to write about. And I hope that readers will identify with that. And if you don't, then I guess I have to get another book. But, you know, I read all kinds of things all the time, and we find ourselves in all kinds of books. We find ourselves in books about animals. I'm reading Water Street Down, you know, with my girls, and we're talking about these characters like they're real people. And we see, you know, Bigwig, who's this, you know, brash rabbit, and we can see ourselves in him. So if you can see yourself in a rabbit, then you can see yourself in Till I Want No More, or, you know, in other books. So that's something we have, you know, trying to accept.
Well, you almost made me cry at this, because just the brilliant humility of being able to say we have to be who we are and trust that God will meet us there. And for me, I am grateful that you did make that choice, because you have created such a beautiful story in Till I Want No More. And Carolyn, I think Carolyn summed it up beautifully by just saying, Robin, thank you for being who you are, and writing in freedom. That is such a beautiful way to sum it up. And so I want to say thank you, Robin, for being with us today on the Better Together Facebook Live. Friends, again, I'm with Robin W. Pearson. She is an award-winning author, and her newest book is titled Till I Want No More. Robin, pop that baby up for us one more time. And we have the link. Go ahead and leave it up there. We've got the link, friends, for you to go ahead and check it out on Amazon. Again, our friend Vicki already purchased it. And you are able to enjoy this incredible story about characters and family issues that we all face. But you also get a chance to learn about people who live a little differently than you. So, Robin, thank you for joining us today on the Better Together Facebook Live.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you. And friends, thank you for sticking with us today. We had some fun with technology, but we are here every Tuesday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we want you to join us every week for a brand new episode of the Better Together Facebook Live show. And you can watch the replays at barbruce.com on the blog page. So thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.